On September 19, 2025, President Donald Trump signed an executive order that stunned the world, a new $100,000 annual fee for each H-1B visa to be paid by employers. This fee, recurring every year, means a standard 3-year visa now costs $300,000 per worker, an unprecedented sum. The administration claimed this would curb abuse and push companies to hire Americans, but critics saw it as a near-total shutdown of the H-1B program for all but the wealthiest firms. Simultaneously, a new gold card was introduced, permanent residency for $1 million or $2 million if paid by a company, signaling a shift from valuing talent to valuing wealth. While the new H-1B fee is technically a global policy, its consequences are far from evenly distributed. On paper, it applies to applicants from every country, but in reality, the brunt of this change falls squarely on one community more than any other. For Indian nationals, the impact is not just significant, it's devastating. The new fee structure threatens to upend the lives and dreams of thousands of Indian professionals, students, and families who have long looked to the H-1B program as a bridge to opportunity. Year after year, Indian applicants have received more than 70% of all H-1B visas issued. For decades, this program has been a lifeline, opening doors for generations of Indian engineers, IT professionals, and their families. It's not just a statistic. It's a story of ambition, sacrifice, and hope, woven into the fabric of both nations. Today, over 300,000 high-skilled Indian workers live and work in the United States on H-1B visas. Their presence has shaped entire communities, fueled innovation in Silicon Valley, and supported American businesses from coast to coast. The ripple effects of this policy change are massive, touching not just individuals but families, employers, and the entire Indian-American community. The new fee doesn't just raise the cost of application, it effectively blocks a pathway that has connected India and America for decades. It severs a link that has brought talent, diversity, and economic growth to the U.S., while offering hope and stability to countless Indian families. For many, the H-1B was never just a work permit. It was the first step toward the American dream, a chance to build a new life, contribute to society, and create a future for the next generation. It represented possibility, belonging, and the promise of a better tomorrow. Now, for thousands, that dream feels out of reach. The goalposts haven't just moved, they've vanished entirely, leaving a generation of talented, hard-working individuals stranded in uncertainty, unsure if their sacrifices will ever pay off. Across the Indian diaspora, the sense of betrayal and anxiety is palpable. Families worry about their futures, students question their choices, and entire communities feel the weight of a policy that seems to single them out. For many, the American dream now feels more distant than ever before. The H-1B visa has been the cornerstone of high-skilled immigration, allowing U.S. companies to hire foreign talent for specialized roles. Each year, 85,000 new H-1Bs are available, but demand has always far outstripped supply, making the process a lottery. For Indian professionals, the H-1B was a gateway to global careers, higher salaries, and a shot at permanent residency. It wasn't just for elite graduates. Thousands of skilled engineers and IT workers from across India used it to achieve upward mobility. The visa's dual intent, work now, seek residency later, made it the most viable path for building a life in America. The new policy threatens to erase this chapter before it can even begin. The $100,000 annual fee is a game-changer, turning a manageable business expense into an impossible barrier. Previously, H-1B costs ranged from $2,500 to $7,500. Now, the fee alone dwarfs the median salary of many H-1B workers. For most roles, companies would pay more in fees than in salary, making the program unviable for all but the highest-paid executives. For Indian families, $100,000 is nearly 9 million rupees, a lifetime of savings. The policy effectively kills the H-1B for the skilled workers it was meant to help, leaving only a shell of the program. Industry analysts call it a backdoor ban, technically legal but practically inaccessible. The human cost is immediate and profound. 300,000 Indian professionals in the US now face a terrifying cliff. Employers must choose, pay an unbudgeted fortune, or let valued employees' legal status expire. Families are thrown into chaos. Spouses' careers cut short. Children facing uprooting from the only home they've known. The emotional toll is immense, with lives upended overnight. For students and young professionals in India, years of planning and investment now seem wasted. The path they worked so hard to follow has suddenly vanished. The H-1B visa has been the engine behind one of America's most successful immigrant communities, over 3 million strong. These professionals and their families have enriched the nation's economy, culture, and social fabric. The new policy threatens to cut off this vital artery, halting a story of upward mobility and community building. H-1B holders have built temples, community centers, and brought vibrant traditions to American life. By dismantling the program, the U.S. risks losing not just talent, but the very spirit of the American dream for millions. The shift from merit-based to wealth-based immigration fundamentally alters what America stands for. The announcement of a $100,000 H-1B visa fee sent shockwaves rippling through Silicon Valley and the global tech industry. Overnight, the landscape for hiring top international talent changed dramatically, leaving companies scrambling to understand the full impact of this unprecedented move. Tech giants like Amazon, Microsoft, and Google have long relied on the H-1B program to attract the world's brightest minds, fueling their innovation and growth. These companies have built their empires on the contributions of skilled immigrants who have played a crucial role in developing everything from cloud computing to artificial intelligence. In 2025 alone, Amazon received over 12,000 H-1B approvals. With the new fee, that would translate to a staggering $1.2 billion in annual costs, an amount that could cripple even the largest corporations' hiring budgets and force them to reconsider their entire workforce strategy. No company, no matter how large or profitable, can simply absorb such astronomical costs without making tough decisions. The ripple effects are immediate. Budgets are slashed, projects are put on hold, and the pressure to cut costs intensifies. As a result, hiring freezes are being implemented across the industry, and companies are being forced to rethink their global operations. The uncertainty is palpable, with employees and executives alike wondering what the future holds for their teams and their businesses. The shockwaves aren't limited to American companies. Indian IT giants like Infosys and Wipro, who have built their U.S. presence on the strength of H-1B talent, are also reeling from the news. These firms depend on the H-1B program to serve their American clients and maintain a competitive edge in the global market. The new fee threatens to upend their business models and disrupt long-standing partnerships. Investors reacted swiftly, sending Infosys and Wipro stock prices tumbling as uncertainty gripped the market. The financial fallout was immediate, with billions of dollars in market value wiped out in a matter of days. With the cost of hiring foreign talent skyrocketing, many companies are now considering moving jobs and entire innovation teams overseas. This could trigger a new wave of brain drain as the best and brightest seek opportunities in countries with more welcoming policies. The administration claims that this policy will boost American hiring and create more opportunities for domestic workers. But critics argue that the reality is far more complex. The U.S. simply doesn't have enough STEM graduates to fill the gap left by international talent. Universities and tech leaders warn that the pipeline of skilled workers is already stretched thin, and this policy could make it even harder to compete globally. Instead of spurring growth, the $100,000 H-1B fee risks stifling innovation, slowing economic progress, and eroding America's competitive edge in the world's most important industries. For generations, the American dream inspired millions in India, a promise of opportunity through talent and hard work. The H-1B was the key to that dream, but the new policy replaces hope with exclusion. The narrative of the successful Indian immigrant, once a source of pride, is now under threat. America is seen less as a land of opportunity, more as a private club for the wealthy. Other countries like Canada and Australia are now more attractive to global talent. The U.S. risks losing its status as the world's top destination for innovation and ambition. For countless Indians, the dream is fading, replaced by a search for new horizons. As the dust settles from the recent policy changes, industry leaders across the country are sounding the alarm. They warn that the repercussions could inflict lasting damage on American innovation, potentially undermining the nation's hard-earned reputation for creativity and technological leadership. The uncertainty is palpable in boardrooms and research labs alike, as companies grapple with how to move forward in an environment that suddenly feels much less welcoming to global talent. Legal experts are now stepping into the fray, questioning whether such a punitive fee can withstand legal scrutiny. Lawsuits are already being prepared, setting the stage for a series of high-stakes court battles that could drag on for months or even years. Yet, for the families caught in the crossfire, these legal maneuvers offer little comfort. Many are left in limbo, forced to make difficult decisions about their futures with no immediate relief in sight. The administration's unpredictable stance on high-skilled immigration has created a climate of instability. This uncertainty is not just deterring new talent from considering the U.S. as a destination, but is also prompting some of the brightest minds already here to look elsewhere. Countries around the world are eager to welcome these skilled professionals, and the risk of a brain drain is becoming all too real. The future of America's role in the global economy now hangs in the balance. Will the nation remain open, dynamic, and a magnet for the world's best and brightest? Or will it turn inward, adopting a more protectionist stance that could stifle growth and innovation? The choices made today will shape the country's economic landscape for generations to come. For hundreds of thousands of Indian workers and their families, the American dream, once a beacon of hope and opportunity, now feels painfully out of reach. Many are left wondering if the sacrifices they made to build a life in the U.S. were in vain, as their futures remain uncertain and their plans are put on indefinite hold. The consequences of these decisions will echo for years to come, not just for individuals and families, but for entire communities. A generation that contributed so much to America's growth and prosperity now faces a future filled with questions and a sense of loss that may never fully heal.